Well, welcome back. We are finally here and with Fillmore and on the brakes today. I mean the emergency brake. So this is what we're looking at here. It's all the pieces kind of taken apart, and of course we have our brake actually on there. I mean the disc itself. The rest of the hardware I have in this box right here. So what we'll be doing is just kind of going on and putting it back together on here. Of course we won't be able to hook up any of the cables or anything, but we should be able to get all the pieces back together. So I'm gonna set up to get this and just grab the wrenches and things we'll need, and then we'll get to work. All right, so let's see if we can start and get this right. So this should be the plate that's going to go on top here, and it should fit right over here. And then the way it works is we have, I believe this is a 9/16 bolt, so it gets one washer and one bolt for each, just a regular flat washer. About time we put it together and talk about it for, of course we'll probably have to take it off and redo it 12 times or something, you know, as is traditional here with the porceration thing. We'll see, hopefully I'm gonna get this on right this time. And then one more here. And then on bottom, it's just going to receive a lock nut and a washer for each. I mean, lock nut, a lock washer and a nut, excuse me. Apparently my brain is having some kind of issue. So I'm just going to get those on real quick here. And then we'll get them tightened down. Awesome. Let me get that, and then we'll get you back on film and get back to doing the next steps. Awesome. So our next piece that will go on will be the back brake pad that has its own little brace here. And so what this is going to go on the back slide, oops, knocking things off, right up under here, and it should line up where the holes are matching up with these holes that are on the outside here, and I'll kind of show you guys that as we slide this bolt through. So the piece that kind of fits this together is we have these two spacer pieces that are the black tubes we repainted. This thing looks a lot better than it did. The pictures of the brakes from when we started to the end were so amazing in comparison. It's been a long process, but it's been good and things. So, and I believe we're kind of offset at an angle, so it should sit off to the side the way that the bolts are, and I think that's made to miss certain pieces. So if we slide this back and we have those spacers, you'll see that one side's going to be up higher than the other side. And if I'm looking at it, because I'm facing the back direction, this would be the right side facing the front, from the back would be the higher up side. And so on top of these two little spacers, there are springs that go, and this is going to fit right over the top of this spacer. Now the spacer fits on the hole on the outside, but doesn't go through the hole on the back side, which is what's giving it the spring off the back here. So we'll just fit those down. Well, hope everybody's having a super great day. Well, I did that thing where I set something down and lost it. Well, let me see. I do this thing a lot where I set things down and lose them. Alright, where did I put that other spacer? Give me just a minute. Let me grab that other spacer. It's got to be somewhere right here in front of me. Of course, I go back and watch my own videos so I can see where I set it. I set it inside of this other side here. So this one also goes on like that. And so make sure I got the guys in good spot here. Might move you over a little bit here. So, and these pieces, like I said, will fit inside. So you can see there's a hole here where this spacer will fit. And then this one right here will go in. And it's a little bit skewed. Like I said, the right side is higher up than the left side. And you'll see that on the back. So the brake pad will go on back of it then. And then on front half of it will be the other brake pad, which will slide in between. So you'll have this spacer that goes through this one. Let me see if I can get that on video for you. So this is the back half of. I'm always explaining this in a weird way. So right now I'm at the very back of the vehicle facing the front. So this is the rear brake pad on the emergency brake, I guess, and the other one would be the front half of it, if that makes sense. Sorry if my English and explanation is not very good sometimes. But so these pieces will fit right in here. And then this is going to go back on the back half of this here. Awesome. And then we have a couple of bolts that are going to run through this, and they are these longer bolts. I believe these are 9/16 as well. And then they have a couple of nuts that go on back of them. So I'm just double checking my book as we go. And then we also have a spring and a piece that's in between here. And this piece is right here, and this is going to go on too. And then these bolts will go through here as well. So we'll get this on real fast. And there's a washer, a spring, a washer, and then we have this little C-clip that's clipping it all together and things. So let me get this C-clip pulled off of here. We'll get this all lined up real quick. Awesome. So we'll put this piece together right here next to our little lady. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'm trying to get that balance when I do full screen videos of zooming in, not being too close, but not being too far away. So hopefully this is all right like this. So basically, the way this one rolls back together is we have our back brake pad, which is going to be sitting this way. And so we can turn this upside down. We know that this is our bottom half here. The next piece that goes on is just a washer. So we'll just throw that washer on there. And then we have this bracket here. And this bracket goes facing downwards. So if this is the up, this piece should be facing down. And the bigger portion of it, because you'll notice that it's skinnier on one side than the other, should be the piece that's facing, that's on the bracket like this. So this should be little part down and facing this way. So we have back of the brake pad, washer, and then this piece is next. On top of this, it will go our next bracket piece, and this one should fit down facing this direction, and I believe it's the same on both sides, so I don't think it matters which side this is facing. But you will notice that it does fit into that bend. There's a bend right here inside of this bracket, and so this is down and this fits into the bend with the two knobs that you can see on there. Hopefully this is coming out all right. Let me double check the video real fast. Oh, we'll just keep going. And then once you get to this spot, the next thing is a spring, which is right here. Little spring. And then you will put a washer on top of the spring. And then on the back of the washer and spring, there is this C-clip. So hopefully this is coming out, and that will just clip onto the back side here. So we'll just slide this down, and then this should push forward and clip it all together. And I may have to get something stronger than my finger to push on it. Oh, there we go. got it. Oh, almost punched myself in the face. Nice. I think if I get a screwdriver and push it over. Hang on one second. It would have been pretty funny to knock myself out on video. So I think if I don't cut my hand open or something stupid. There we go. And there we go. And that looks like it clipped over the top. So then all together, it looks like this. And you can see it all pushed into one piece here. So, and then this is, like I said, it's going to be facing down. So now we can go ahead and line up our spacers and with the springs on them, and then put our bolts through the outside. So let me switch the camera around, we'll get to that. All right, so now we're at this point. So I think what we can go ahead and do is we can slip these little braces in once we slide this over. So this will slide in here, and then we can take our little spacers and just put them in to hold this into place here. And then I'll get my other one. And you can see, you know, kind of how I was saying that this side is lower than this side. It sits at a little bit of an angle here. So then our next pieces that should go on is that back brake pad, which is right here. And this is going to slide in behind. Okay, make sure I get those spacers between the springs. There we go. It should lock in something like that. So now we should be able to slide our bolt through, and the bolts should be going front or back to front, but let me double check ourselves here. And I don't think it shows the bolts, so, but it should go in this way. I don't believe they had a washer on the front. Oh, here it is. Yeah. No, and it looks like they had them going the opposite direction. They've got them coming in from this direction. Let me see, it's part number 823463. So 823463 screw special. So yeah, that should be facing this way from the inside out, I believe. But that doesn't seem to make much sense because it'd be hard to get it to fit in that direction. I believe it's going to be the other way. This side, I don't think even would. No, it might fit in that direction. But definitely, I wouldn't have enough space on this side. Let me have a look at this for just a minute here. You know, I think I'm right in the fact, I could go back and look at the video, but this one side definitely, it's in the way to fit it this way. I often forget that I am looking at a model from the year previous, so this book may be wrong. The way that it seems to fit right is to put the bolts through the front like this. And Whoops. Of course, it fits better if you leave the bake in place. Alright, so let's slide this back in and see if we can get this side lined up. There we go. And then let me just throw a nut. Let me double check and make sure there's just a nut, no washers on this one. I'm just gonna get that started on there so that it doesn't fall out. But I want it to be pretty even, so then let's go ahead and throw the bolt on the other side. Oh. Looks pretty good on there too. Oh, I forgot to get the... Helps if you put it through the right hole, you know. Alright, and then we'll just slide a nut on that one before I get it tight down. And like I said, I believe that the bolts and nuts are 9/16 for all of these, the ones that did the bracket on top and these two. So now I just need to make sure that we stay about even on thread, and we still have room to turn our brake wheel too. So I'm gonna go ahead, let me get a bolt and tighten these down. And then I believe, as far as it goes, this will be the emergency brake. The rest of the attachments, we will get onto it once we get it onto the vehicle. I think we have one bracket we can put back on here. But I think most of it we're going to have to wait till we get it back on the vehicle. But let me double check. Let me get these bolts tightened up. And then one other thing is there's this bracket. And this bracket with this piece holds a kind of distribution block for the brakes. And I can't find the diagram, but I believe that it goes under one of the bolts on the front. And basically it's just a bracket to hold where the brake lines split up front. I believe it's on the left side because that's the front direction. So I believe it goes there. And so basically the way this goes together is that this piece actually fits. Let me just wipe. I've had it sitting in some oil. Set everything in oil when I'm not using it. And this fits into here where the square is. And so that just sits in there. And then this piece comes over the top and should clamp it right here. And let me make sure I've got this facing the right direction. Yeah. And so basically it's just going to split it. And so this piece should come down right here. And there might be a washer in between. I don't think there was, but it looks like there's a little space. Let's just see. But and I don't have off the top of my head the size of what this nut was, but basically the nut should just screw down into here. And I'm probably gonna have to get the actual driver to do it. Let me see what the top of this is. Awesome. And this nut is a 3/8. And it should just tighten down there. And then I haven't actually tightened any of those other bolts down. They're just hand tightened basically. So it has more space to go. I think that's, and it should be square because it's square on this side here. So I don't believe there was a nut that went on the back of that. I think that just bolted in like that there. So let me throw this up front for now. We can always switch sides, but at least it's all done and taken care of and ready to go back onto the vehicle. So Let me just throw that on. I'll tighten these bolts and we'll do a wind up. Awesome. So Dave just running in. He's just checking everything out. But so this is it. That's the bracket itself. This piece is, you pull this way and you can see where the spring will come off of here. And you can see that it tightens the brakes down. So that's what clamps it down, and let go, it loosens, and then we pull, it tightens. So that's all good. We're gonna probably do a little bit of adjustment, so I haven't tightened everything down, but that's really nice. I did go ahead and throw that distribution block back on here, and if it needs to be moved, we can always readjust it, but at least it's back together and back on there. So been talking about that for a long time, so it's nice to get done. So our next steps is I'm gonna set this the other direction, start setting up everything to wire this outside. I am going to mount the motor next time and get it actually physically onto the axle itself, and then we're going to start working on the wiring harness and making sure everything works. I do appreciate everyone tuning in. I hope the videos have been good. Thanks so much for sticking it out. We'll keep working on the project as long as it takes. So if you haven't yet, like, comment, subscribe, let us know how we're doing, and most definitely thanks for watching. What do you think, Joy? You ready to go home? She's like, whatever.